There are moments in life that don't just hurt you, they redefine you. This is one of those moments. My name is Margaret. I am 63 years old. I have lived a quiet, simple life, the kind of life where family is everything, where Sunday dinners matter, where a mother's love is the thread that holds the whole family together. I raised my son Daniel alone. His father left when Daniel was just 4 years old, and from that day forward, it was just the two of us against the world. I worked double shifts as a nurse for 15 years so Daniel could go to college. I skipped vacations. I wore the same shoes for 3 winters. I did everything so that my son could have a future worth living. And he did. Daniel became a doctor, a real one, the kind that saves lives and makes his mother cry happy tears every single time she thinks about it. When he told me he was opening his own clinic, I remember sitting down at my kitchen table and just weeping, not from sadness, from pure, overwhelming pride. I asked him, "When is the grand opening, baby? I want to be there for every single second of it." He smiled and said, "I'll let you know, Mom, don't worry." I should have paid attention to those words. "I'll let you know." Not, "Of course you'll be there." Not, "You're the guest of honor." Just, "I'll let you know." But I trusted him. I trusted my son with my whole heart. And so I waited, patiently, excitedly. I even bought a new dress, a deep blue one, because Daniel always said blue was my color. I had it hanging on my closet door for weeks, just waiting for the invitation. It never came. One Tuesday afternoon, I called Daniel to check in. Just a normal phone call, the kind a mother makes when she's thinking about her child. He didn't answer, so I called his wife, Serena. She picked up on the third ring. Her voice was cheerful, almost too cheerful. "Oh, Margaret, how are you?" I asked her, casually, lovingly, "So when is the clinic opening? I've been watching the calendar and I haven't heard a date yet." There was a pause just long enough to make my heart drop before she even said a single word. And then she said it, calm, unbothered, like she was talking about the weather. "Oh, we celebrated yesterday. It was a small thing. We didn't want to make a big deal out of it." I stood in my kitchen, holding the phone, and said nothing, because the world had just tilted beneath my feet. I hung up the phone quietly. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. Not right away. I just stood there, in my small kitchen, in front of the window where I'd watched Daniel ride his first bicycle, and I felt something inside me go very, very still. They had celebrated without me. My son had opened the clinic I had sacrificed for, the dream I had carried on my back through 15 years of night shifts and borrowed money, and no one had called me. No one had saved me a seat. No one had thought to say, "Mom should be here." I called Daniel back. He answered this time. His voice was awkward, stiff, the voice of a man who already knows he has done something wrong. "Mom, it was just a small gathering. You know how Serena is. She wanted to keep it low-key." Low-key. Low-key. There were photos on Facebook by that evening. I wasn't looking for them. A neighbor sent them to me. Serena's entire family was there. Her parents, her sisters, her cousins, her college friends. There were flowers and banners and a ribbon-cutting ceremony. My son stood there, smiling in his white coat, surrounded by her people. And I, the woman who had made that white coat possible, was home, in my blue dress, still waiting for an invitation that was never coming. I want you to understand what that feels like. It doesn't just feel like being forgotten, it feels like being erased. Like someone took a photograph of your whole life's work and quietly cut you out of it. I cried that night. I won't pretend I didn't. I cried the kind of tears that come from somewhere deep and old, the kind that carry years of love and sacrifice inside them. But by morning, something had changed in me. The sadness was still there, but underneath it, something stronger had woken up. I was done being quiet. I was done making peace for the sake of peace. I was done swallowing my pain so everyone else could be comfortable. I thought about every school play Daniel had performed in, every hospital bill I'd negotiated down because I had no insurance, every birthday of mine I'd spent alone because Daniel was studying for exams and I told him, "Go, baby, focus on your future." I had given that boy everything, and his wife had decided I was worth nothing. No, I refused to accept that. I didn't plot a dramatic revenge. I did something quieter, something more powerful. I stopped pretending everything was fine. For years, I had smiled through Serena's small cruelties, her sharp comments at family dinners, the way she'd forget to include me in decisions, the way she'd made Daniel feel guilty whenever he spent time with me. I had absorbed all of it because I didn't want to cause problems, because I loved my son and I didn't want to be that mother-in-law. But silence, I had learned, is not kindness. Sometimes silence is just slow surrender. I wrote Daniel a letter, a long one, handwritten on real paper, the way I used to write him notes when he was small and afraid of the dark. I told him everything, not with anger, not with accusation, just with truth. I told him what his clinic opening had meant to me. I told him about the blue dress. I told him that I understood he had a wife and a new life, but that I was still his mother, that my love for him had cost me something real, something tangible, and that I deserved to be seen. I told him I wasn't angry at him, but I was heartbroken, and he needed to know that. He came to my house 3 days later, alone, without Serena. He sat at my kitchen table, the same table where I used to help him with his homework, and he cried. My big, successful, brilliant son sat there and wept like he was 7 years old again. He said, "Mom, I didn't know how much she had pushed you out until I read your letter. I'm so sorry." I didn't say, "It's okay," because it wasn't, not yet. But I held his hand, and I told him we could find our way back to each other if he was willing to be honest, with me and with himself. Serena and Daniel went to counseling. It wasn't my victory to claim, but things shifted. Quietly, slowly, they shifted. And the following spring, when Daniel opened his second clinic, a bigger one in a better location, he called me himself. He said, "Mom, I have something reserved for you, front row." I wore the blue dress, and this time I was there. To every mother who has ever been pushed to the sidelines by someone who forgot what you sacrificed, your love is not weakness, your silence is not acceptance, and your worth is not determined by those who failed to see it. Speak your truth. You've earned it.